how to do a graphagan. What you're going to need is your stitch markers. It's just little clippies, or you can use bobby pins or safety pins, yarn. You're also going to need some yarn bobbins, some different color yarn, hook, and I've already got this started, so we're going to go on through here, and when we get down to this one, I'm going to show you how to add in a different color. But right now, we're going to start right here, and this called for 5, and so I put my stitch marker there. And you crochet. I'm doing a single crochet until you reach your stitch marker. And I am at it. And at the stitch marker, you don't want to make a mess. You got to change colors. So we're going to remove that stitch marker. And this is the white from the previous row here. So we're going to stick it in, just like you normally would make a stitch, but we're going to take that and wrap it around there, and then finish out your stitch to here. And then you're going to take your pink and make sure you put it on the front side. Now these are designed, they have clippies so you can clip it to your project so it doesn't get all tangled up. And then you're just going to finish out that stitch with your white. And just go until you reach your next stitch marker. And this is the stitch before, right there. So we're going to remove that one. And we're going to start it as normal and take the pink from the previous row, wrap it around. Then you're just going to finish out your stitch to this point. And then you're going to take this yarn and make sure you put it in the front, because when you flip it around, your yarn's going to be in the back. And I grab a hold of that and then finish it out with your pink. And then you go to your next stitch marker. And here, be careful because people can add a stitch not realizing when you begin your next color. So just be careful when you come to that. And just single crochet. I have done graphagans with a double and a half before, and they turned out really, really nice. But here we are at our next stitch marker, which we're changing to white. So we're going to remove this stitch marker. That's the one it was in, and we're going to stick it in there. Then we're going to take the white from the previous row, wrap it around, and pull it through. And you got 2 on your hook, and then we're going to take the pink we were using and make sure you put it into the front of your project. And then don't get everything in a knot like I just did. Finish out your stitch with that white, and you go to your next stitch marker. Right here is what I said, be careful you don't go into this one. Go into your very next stitch and just single crochet as normal till you reach your next stitch marker. Now here we got to change to pink, but we don't have pink already on here. So we're going to get another stitch marker that has pink on it. Right there is our tail. We're going to remove the stitch marker, and we're going to start it just like we would normally. We're going to stick it into the stitch. Then here we're going to take this from our pink and just lay it over top of your hook. I like to use my finger to help keep it there while I'm maneuvering everything around. Hold those two pink down, and then you're going to grab this and you're going to crochet your single stitch to get to this point. Now you're going to take your white that you're using and you're going to bring it to the front. And be careful when you're grabbing that you don't grab the short end. You want to grab the one that's attached to the stitch marker. See how I'm controlling all of my yarn? And you're just going to finish out that single crochet. Now we have this little tail here. I like to lay it right here on top and crochet it in. So I don't have a lot of tails to weave in because I don't like to weave in tails. It's not my favorite part of crocheting. And you're just going to crochet. You drop this after a few stitches, or if you have enough pink, just keep going till you're all done with it. Go to your end, and I'm going to pause this, turn around, and then we're going to crochet some more. Pause it. Alright, I finished out that row, and I added my stitch markers. And if you can see, they don't line up. So I'm going to show you how, if your pattern calls for you to go inside, further into your coloring, how to carry your yarn that way. Now the first one was easy. It called for 1, 2, 5. So we're just going to do this as normal. For the graphagan, we're going to, I got a lot of stuff going on here. I always single crochet 1 and then crochet till you reach your stitch marker. And there we go. I got one more to go. And then we're going to change to our white. So we're going to remove this stitch marker, start it as normal, take the white from the previous row, wrap it around your hook, and then just crochet until you get to this point. Take your pink that you're using and bring it in front. And if you want, you can always take and hook these on there so it's just out either way. And just finish out that stitch, and then you're going to crochet. We're going to stop right here. I'm going to show you how to do this. And just crochet, single crochet. Now when you're doing this and you happen to go past your color, you don't want this just laying here on the back side of your project. So you're going to go into this next stitch, which is the pink, and you're going to take your hook and you're going to wrap that around there, and you're going to just make your stitch. In other words, you're just laying it right there inside of it, so it's not laying there. And so you're to the stitch marker. Remove it, and you have it laid right there, and you just wrap it around till you get to this point, and you can take the white you're using and bring it to the front. Have it a little tight. Then you pick up your pink and finish out your stitch. And you just finish it out. And we're going to stop here at this pink here. because we have our white right here. So we're going to take and we're just going to make our stitch, but we're going to make sure that white from the previous row is laying on top of your hook, and just do your single crochet. Now you're at your stitch marker, so you're going to remove your stitch marker. Excuse me. You have your laying there, and bring this pink to the front, and then take your white that you're changing to and finish out your stitch. Continue on to your next stitch marker, which is the same thing. You're going to make sure that pink from the previous row is laid here on top, and finish out your stitch. Now you're at your here, so remove your stitch marker, and you're just going to do it like you did previously. Keep making sure it's laying here on top, and get it to this point. Bring this white in front, and then finish your stitch with your pink, and just finish out to the end of your row. I'm going to pause this and I will be right back. Okay, I finished that row and I added more stitch markers. So we're just going to continue on like you would until you reach your stitch marker. So chain one and then crochet, single, hit the right hole, single crochet right there, and you're at the stitch marker. So you're going to remove your stitch marker, put it into that stitch, wrap that white around your hook, and bring it through. And then you're going to take and move this pink that you were using to the front. Don't have a lot of slack here on it. And just finish out your stitch with your white, and then crochet until you reach your next stitch marker. Now here's my next stitch marker, and here's my pink from the previous row. So we're going to remove this stitch marker because we know this is the stitch we're on. We're going to stick it through. Then we're going to bring this pink from the previous row. We're going to wrap it. We don't want this pulled tight. Just single crochet. We don't want it loose, but we want it there. Now we're going to lay the pink on top, and we're going to make sure that we single crochet and grab them. Single crochet through that one, grabbing that one that you brung over from the back and the one you got laying on the front, and then you're going to continue. You're going to lay that one on top. And straightening out my mess. And we have one more. And make sure this is laid on top with that stitch. And now you see we have nothing laying back here. We can remove this stitch marker because we're at the stitch marker. And make sure it's laid on top. Stick it through like you normally would. We're getting it to this point, and then you're going to take this white that you were using and bringing it to the front. A little snug, not tight. You want to be able to get your hook through there. And finish out your stitch. Now we're going to do that again. We're doing a single crochet until we reach our next stitch marker. So I'm going to go at a little bit of a speed here. But we're at the pink. Now we need to take and we need to lay this right here on top. And we need to stick it through. Make sure that your yarn is laid on top from the previous row. And then single crochet. Make sure it's laid on. It's just like weaving it, crocheting in the ends, but you're just carrying over the piece of yarn that you're going to need for your stitch marker, which is right where we're at. Here we go. Grab your, make sure it's laid on top, get your yarn, and as usual, get it here. Take the pink that you're using, bring it to the front, and then find your white right here, and finish out your stitch. And then you just crochet to the end, and there you go. That is how you increase and decrease and change colors, and you don't have a bunch of ends to weave in, and you can make some pretty cool stuff with the graphagans.